You like gamification. You like external symbols of accomplishment, success. Like, has that always been the case for you? Is that something more new? Because I know door-to-door is competitive, but why the gamification and why the badges?
I'm a student of success, man. Like any great organization, great incentive, or like a gamification process. You go to any door-to-door program that's ran successfully, like they have their incentives on point. That's just what it is. Why? Because it just produces sales. Like anytime you go head to head with someone and you are accountable and you're like, it checks all the boxes. Like you're keeping track. You start from the beginning. You know what matters.
Welcome to the Premium Mindset, the weekly podcast where homegrown entrepreneurs and business owners, Evan Ritchey and Cameron Bawden, share the good, the bad, and the ugly of modern entrepreneurship and reveal what really happens behind the scenes of their personal and professional lives. As owners of two of America's fastest growing and most disruptive companies, Coconut Cleaning and Green Mango Pest Control. Stay tuned for real stories, struggles, insight, and advice from real entrepreneurs in real time.
What's going on? Today, Cameron and I are again in Austin Zayback studio. Thank you so much to Austin for hosting us. On today's episode of the Premium Mindset, we're going to go in on the importance of gamifying the most important KPIs in making the process of becoming a successful and dominant company more enjoyable for your employees. You know what's funny about you? You were texting me the other day prior to the 1% call. And when I wrote you those 7 points, that was off the dome. Mm-hmm. But I've revisited that. So Cameron just said, hey, like, you know, I'm giving this training, I've made this presentation, and I was honestly blown away by how much preparation you put into your 1%.
Put so much time into that, man.
Genuinely, like for you, the administrative side about sitting down, getting all those things on paper, making sure it makes sense, simple for everyone. But you're like, hey man, at any point, if you want to interject on a certain principle that could supplement it more, like please do so. And I kind of shot back like, you know, you're a simple entrepreneur, mm-hmm. and you're absolutely ruthless to like these 7 things. And I just like laid it out. And then the last few days I've looked back at it, I'm not really missing anything, but those are like your things. And one thing that like, it doesn't bug me because I have no room to talk. Like, it's like going to the gym with Bryson or a big personal trainer, and he's like, all right, do it this way. And you're like, oh, I usually do it this way. It's like, just shut up. Just do it how Bryson says it. And in small business, I feel the same towards my internal dialogue when you said, do you know what I'm going to say that you brought up where I'm like, dude, this guy. No. Try to guess.
I'm trying to find the text message.
The last week or two.
What's the question?
Like what you brought up to me recently that you're like, hey, have we thought about doing this? Like, are you interested in doing this?
I know I was talking about the realtor clubs yesterday, the collaborations with companies of offering like the discounts.
No. Try to think like a week ago.
Dang.
Schmoy Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
The vest, dude.
Man.
The vest. Okay, let me tell you something. Cameron texts me and he says, hey, man, I really like the vest at Green Mango. Very simply, Cameron and myself, I was an Eagle Scout. He got to, I think, Bear. And we both did Scouts, right? And they have these, is it sash? Is that the right word? Like sash?
Yeah.
Like these sashes with merit badges. And sometimes you go to scout camp. Sometimes you're able to do it with your scout leader, tying knots, whatever it is. And 2 years ago, I feel like you came up with this idea like, hey, I really want like these sick vests. And for like tenure in terms of like 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, hours sprayed, houses sprayed, revenue hit, sales goals. I just want all this stuff up there. And at first, I'm like, who the heck, what grown man is going to walk around the office wearing a sash and some merit badges? And then you got to work with the marketing team and you did your thing. And then
Which wasn't easy, man.
No, it was not easy because I saw the other side of it where it's like, we're trying to send him this. And he's like, oh, change the lightning bolt here. And it's like, hey, Cameron's particular, you gotta go with it. But the end result, I am a fan. And it was these Nike super thin vests, so it could be worn during the winter, and it can be worn at the like in the summer. And we had all these different accomplishments that were really important to you. And I would again highlight that they were very KPI focused, almost not, I won't say bottom line driven, but like the more tenured you have people, the better. And I loved it. And so every monthly, you're like, I want the guys to come up. I want people to see them get their badges, and it's going to be a big deal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these merit badges, bro, like an eagle's nest at the monthly meeting. Like, come on. And it turned into something fun, and it turned into something cool watching these Green Mango guys walking around with their vests and their badges. And like, you see, I just put this one on. I'm like, that's sick, man. And you text me last week and you're like, hey bro, have you thought about doing vests at Coconut? I'm like, no, I haven't. But like, we've done like a shirt and a hat and this, and that's working pretty well. But like, let me look into it. And I'm excited for you to see some of the mock-ups, because it's based off of what we already had at Green Mango.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you like to reinvent the wheel, and I'm just like, let's go with what we have. Let's go with what we have. But you like gamification. You like external symbols of accomplishment, success. Like, has that always been the case for you? Is that something more new? Because I know door-to-door is competitive, but where, I guess, why the gamification and why the badges?
I just believe that I'm a student of success, man. Like, any great organization has a great incentive or like a gamification process. You go to any door-to-door program that's ran successfully, like they have their incentives on point.
Yeah.
And like, that's just what it is. Why? Because it just produces sales. Like, anytime you go head to head with someone and you are accountable and you're like, it checks all the boxes. Like, you're keeping track. You start from the beginning. You know what matters. Hey, highest salesman, highest revenue, like whatever it is, right? It's like, here's the goal. Then you report on it every single day, and you're motivated to do it. You're motivated to train and get better. And so like, if you're just kind of floating there without anyone, are you going to go spend 15 minutes like going over your pitch that night, every single night for 15 minutes if you're just like working for a paycheck? But if you're going head to head with Evan, or you're like in the final four, you're going to go practice, you're going to go get training, you're going to go do whatever it takes. And that's just when you just look at life. And so I don't know when it started for me or like whatever, but it's just what it is, is that people perform better when there's competition, and healthy competition. Like, I'm not trying to make anyone look bad, but also I'm trying to reward the guys and want them to look forward to things that matter. If you and I like were reporting on our yearly goals at the beginning, like starting January, and we literally like met and we're reporting and listing on the board that we like hit our weight goals or hit our, reading goals or hit our steps goal and all these things, like our chances of like actually getting through the full year of doing it would increase by probably 10,000%. Yeah. And that's the point of these vests. And what I see with companies, again, I got to see it with the 5 companies that we ran, but also now that I'm consulting a ton of other companies, like I get to see it in their business. And the problem is
them not doing it and them
no one's doing it.
No one's doing it.
Well, here's the thing. They're doing it like Coconut's doing it. Yeah, we have a hat, we have a shirt, but
like that level 1 kind of.
Yeah, level
0.5. We're in the basement.
I'm just kidding.
We're in the basement.
I'm just kidding. It is level 1, and it's cool, but it's like, it's good. There's good, better, and best, right? But the problem is that when you go into grind season, right, and you forget to give that anniversary or that merit badge or that like incentive or come up with the game that's going to roll the incentive out, like who's doing it?
Yeah.
No one. And then you have a bad month, bad quarter, and you're like, man, we didn't do an incentive this month. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. And so my whole point is like, in order for you to get like financial freedom and your time back in business, you need to set up these processes and put people over these processes, and then have an auditor audit those. Like that's going to be on repeat for us for a long time until people get it. But the whole point is what I love about the vest is that it forced us to create a system that worked. And it forced me like you say 2 years. Dusty and I actually thought about this like in 2016.
The vests?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But we were too lazy to see it through because there was so much granularity with the program. How many times did I go back and forth with Kate, who was helping with the badges? And then once the badges were done, it's like, Kate, how do you earn? And I gave it to
who's measuring?
Who was it the field managers that went in to like say like this guy earned it?
Yeah.
So then it was
you
like
almost made a catalog for it.
I know, but before that, I just like, Kate, just get it out. Like I've tried, and she was like, she would get frustrated with me. I get frustrated with her. But part of that is because like the system wasn't curated perfectly. Yep. And so it was like, okay, how does one guy earn the 5,000 cells badge? Is that in a month? Is that in a week? Is that okay, let's do that in a month. Okay, how does someone earn the heat check? Is that going through 1 summer, 2 summers? Does it have to be, 115 degrees on average for 4 weeks? What is it? And that's the kind of stuff that sucks to do as a business owner. And it'll like, for us, it literally like took years and years to roll this out. And that's why it took so long. And that's why it's so funny is that like, I'm less attached with the vest because I think there might be something better than the vest, but I'm more attached to like there has to be a system in place. And if there's a system in place that forces you to think through everything from start to finish before you hand it off to that person.
This isn't a side note, but I was actually at Walmart yesterday and there was this lady sitting on, she had to be late 70s. And she I was checking out, she was checking out, scanning the stuff, and she goes, tomorrow I get my 35-year badge. I was like, this 77-year-old woman was like, tomorrow I get my 35-year badge here at Walmart. I was like, that, I said, what? I said, that's why. That's so cool.
Wait, she just randomly said that to you?
She randomly said it. I was like, 35 years? I was like, has it been? She's like, yep. And I get it tomorrow. I was like, is tomorrow your 35? She said, tomorrow's my 35 year. So during the morning stand up, I'll get my 35-year badge. So and it's a whole different tag and everything.
So imagine that girl working there, about to hit 35 years. And she's like, and she's not going to tell you at the cash register, first of all.
Right.
She's thinking in her mind, tomorrow's my 35 year.
Yep.
Man, they forgot about Tommy's and Evan's. I hope they don't forget about mine.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in businesses right now. And so, like, when you said Walmart, I remember Dusty and I were inspired by Home Depot. Like, and Home Depot's doesn't look good because they have it on the huge, like, cotter pin and they're, like, stacked up. But it was like, dude, people are working towards something and it's a reward at the end. And it's kind of like that, you can puff your chest a little bit, bigger when you're walking around. And that's what I think needs to be created. And so the more you can gamify that. And so I was talking to Joey and Brett on the 1% Club. I'm like, dude, I want to do digital badges for these guys.
Yeah.
Because, vests aren't realistic. But if I had a landing page for all the 1% Club members, and then I went through like my boring list of all the things that I feel like a business should have, like that would take me forever. But like I'm like committed to get that. And it's like, as people check this thing off with me, they get a digital badge on a landing page because I have, landing page for Cameron Bawden or High Farm 1% Club. And it's like, maybe there's a separate landing page that shows all the members that are on, I'm just kind of spitfiring here, but it's like, this is my idea is like every member that signs up, they get, a portion of that. And then you can see all the merit badges. And as they get it, like it's a digital badge that turns on. And then at the beginning of the 1% Club calls once a month, it's like, hey, I just want to highlight these 5 guys for getting the badge of highest revenue mark, of getting all their SOPs done, of getting their
their manual
I think that's sick, dude. And that gives people like, when you're sitting there and you're just listening to Cameron, you paid Cameron to tell you, hey, go get your SOPs done, but there's no follow-up, there's no like hold your hand to and then there's no reward after they get it. Whereas like if this nudges them by a little bit to get it done, and it's dumb, dude. It's a digital badge or it's a little badge on a vest, but dude, it works. But what's most important is like the system's in place so you don't forget.
Yep.
That's why I love the Above and Beyond Award at Green Mango. Because it's like, dude, how often, for how many years did we go unnoticed when people went above and beyond? So why does someone want to go above and beyond if there's no recognition in place or it's like sporadic? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like again, I'll circle back to like the level 1 type recognition, which is, hey, good job, or hey.
Okay. So you're on level 2. I get what you're doing here.
Well, no, I was talking to Jason, and Jason's so good at so many things, and he's bootstrapping, doing, millions of dollars, north of $12 million, which is wild. And he's his only partner. And, but like he said one thing kind of callously, which is like, oh, I don't want to pay an employee to give me a referral to have a roof done. Like that's how you keep your job. And I said, Jason, can I just share? I just don't agree with that. Like if someone gives you an $8,000, $10,000 ticket and they're a CSR for you, and they say, hey, my uncle, I called him and he's get his roof done, and because of me, he's going to just see it through with you at State 48, pay your acquisition costs. Because if your acquisition cost is, whatever he told me, I said, pay that. I said, how much more excited is your employee going to be when you go give them, a huge check?
Yeah.
They're going to be so much more excited. And so I think about like that aspect that a lot of small business guys are like, I just want my people to want to perform at that level. And I feel like there's a lot of people who could just say that, but like you've gone above and beyond to say, yeah, I want top performers. Yeah, I love the concept of people around me that don't need all this validation and recognition. But at the end of the day, like we're all striving towards these goals, and there's probably 100 variables that make, this business run, like attendance and, your vehicle inspection. And so like, how do I create these badges around all these things that are important and make people feel like a sense of accomplishment when they get that thing? And then I think on the other side of gamification is actually like competition, which is putting people up against each other. We've done that for 7 years at Coconut in terms of, hey, this month, we're going to do a Masters champion or a qualifier ticket. You're going to go up against a different person every week, dude. It gets violent with how much these guys, they're calling into the office like, hey, it's 3:00. What's so-and-so's route at? We're like, oh, they're at like 3,300 and that guy's at 2,800. He's like, all right, sick. And then he goes to 3,400. I'm like, dude. So I would say don't ever undervalue the aspect of just very simple gamification, which is also, you have a plumbing business and your average route truck revenue is $2,400. Find a way to say, okay, cool. You guys are going to go against each other, and whoever has the most revenue at the end of the week, plus, another category is the most reviews. And then the third category is the least amount of reservices, of course, within your company standard. And then whoever wins, like they get, a staycation, whatever it is. Like, I think we've always had fun with that. But where I've totally just missed the mark is the badges. And then even with the badges, if one aspect of the thing falls through, and I would just say like to somebody that maybe was seeing something through on the badges,
like putting the badge on the vest.
Yeah, putting the badge on the vest. So it's like, hey, I noticed that the guys aren't getting them on the vest. Well, hey, they're not bringing them back to me. It's like, oh crap. So now it's been a couple months. They got a few vests. They're holding on to stickers in their locker.
Yeah.
They're putting them on their wallet. And I'm like, well, crap. So when you make a system like this, you have to see it through and you have to have those checks and balances.
Well, I'm really passionate about it because it's what I suck at.
That makes sense.
So it's like, dude, create, your bit. So if you suck at it, like create the
like validation.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep going.
No, that's it.
So it's like, but that it's important for your business. Like, go create the system for it and then hand it off to someone and just because it needs to be done. And that's what's powerful, right?
Let's have a talk real quick.
Yeah, please.
Do you care for validation? Like genuinely, like with the people you love, is it a sense of gratitude? I need to know. Is it a sense of gratitude? Like you're thankful they said the thing, but like your internal dialogue doesn't need that? Because I feel like I've always said, kind of the Kobe of small business, where there's no competing with you. You just can't compete with you. Because if you start competing, then it's like it's going to go bad for the other person competing. So when we play pickleball, I'm like, I'm on Cameron's team. When we play I'm like, I'm on Cameron. Charades, I'm on Cameron's team. Like, as far as validation goes, and you're an entrepreneur, so like maybe it's a little different, but do you yourself care for the validation in terms of recognition of your accomplishments?
I think I'd be lying if I said no.
Interesting.
I don't like. I think everyone feels great about it. I don't know if I don't know. Do I need it? I don't know if I need it. Like probably, but I know that it can't do any harm. Right. And so like have the system in place and go do it. Am I good at it? I'm really not. Like I'm not good at giving. I'm not good at receiving, and I'm not good at giving compliments. That's just, I don't know. I think it's a blessing and a curse. Because I get to see like I feel like I've trained my brain to always see the bad to improve in business, and that's what like helps out the most. But also like it's hard to celebrate the wins because it's like, dude, we got so much more to keep going, And with the sell of Green Mango, like that's what Liz is like. I knew you weren't going to chill out. Like I knew it wouldn't be enough.
So it's not finished.
And so it's like, dude, there's a lot more to do. Like I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm going to find like peace right now. But like I'm going to keep pushing. Just because I know I'm capable, not because I have to have it.
Like, I'm going to have the best clean lawn out in the front yard. There's not going to be a leaf on the ground.
Not going to be a leaf on the ground. But I was going to say one more thing about the sales or the competition part of it.
I'm breathing, man. I'm just struggling.
You can't breathe,
man.
What's going on? What's important is that, this is what I was going to say. What happens is that a lot of business owners might come up with, so they're going to listen to this podcast, be like, hey, I'm going to come up with a sick competition, and they're going to roll it out, and maybe it was successful. And then they don't roll something else out for another 6 months or 8 months. Yeah. And that's what I'm all about, is trying to help people just like, hey, create the system that you want. So sit down for 2 hours, 5 hours, like whatever it is, go off on a vacation, like whatever it takes, but plan 12 months worth of incentives. If you roll quarterly, like competitions, then you got to come up with 4 this year and create it start to finish, and then hand it to someone and say, hey, I need you to make sure that this gets done, and then follow up with them. And then it's done for the year. And that's what like everything in business is like that. Hey, like go into there, create it, and then move on, but create it for the full year of what you need. And as you reverse engineer it, like I was talking to someone this morning, and I was like, what's your end game, man? Like, what do you want to get to? What's your number? And he's like, I don't know. And then like later on in the call, he talked about how like, the balance of being an entrepreneur and having a wife and her being on board. I'm like, how is she supposed to be on board if you don't even know where you're going? And that's the same thing for your team. Like, how's your team supposed to support you, and how's your team supposed to push every single day for job average, for monthly goals, if you don't even know like what the yearly goal is? And so like that's the value of saying, hey guys, this competition, the goal is these things, boom, 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 and we're going to incentivize for these things. But now everyone knows what the goal is, and everyone knows where we're going, and like let's go have some fun while we do it. And most people love competition.
Love it.